Guravani Acharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashyatya Deshikadine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय, उपस्थित गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे। So we are continuing from yesterday, text number 8 to 12, but maybe we can just recite the next text and then come back to our discussion. So please kindly unmute and please recite after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudeva.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 13, which is entitled Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness, and text number 13. So please repeat after me. Neyam yat tat pravakshami.
ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि
यज्ञात्वामृतम् अश्नुते
यद्गात्वामृतमश्नुते
अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म
अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म
न सत्तन्नासद उच्यते.
न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते.
Okay, so this is word to word meaning and translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Abhay Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Translation. I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Purport. The Lord has explained the field of activities and the knower of the field. He has also explained the process of knowing, the knower of the field of activities. Now he begins to explain the knowable, first the soul and then the super soul. By knowledge of the knower, both the soul and super soul, one can relish the nectar of life. As explained in the second chapter, the living entity is eternal. This is also confirmed here. There is no specific date at which the Jiva was born, nor can anyone trace out the history of the Jivatma's manifestation from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it is beginningless. The Vedic literature confirms this. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Kathopanishad 1 to 18. The knower of the body is never born and never dies, and he is full of knowledge. I think I'll just read this short paragraph. The Supreme Lord as a super soul is also stated in the Vedic literature. Shweta Shvatara Upanishad 6:16. To be Pradhana Kshetrajna Patir Gunesha, the chief knower of the body and the master of the three modes of material nature. In the Smriti, it is also said, Dasa Bhuto, Harer Eva, Nanyaseva Kadachana. The living entities are eternally in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed by Lord Chaitanya in his teachings. Therefore, the description of Brahman mentioned in this verse is in relation to the individual soul. And when the word Brahman is applied to the living entity, it is to be understood that it is Vijnana Brahma as opposed to Ananda Brahma. Ananda Brahma is the Supreme Brahman, personality of Godhead. So we'll recite the prayers. Om Ajnanatmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratushe Namah हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुम लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं श्री गुरु दिनतारणं परमानंदं Hare Krishna. So, welcome back to our continuation of the highly philosophical discussion on the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. That is the Jnana section. So before we actually begin with your presentations from where we left yesterday, can we just quickly revise what did we studied yesterday? What was the discussion? What was Srila Prabhupada was trying to tell us? Or Krishna is trying, Lord Sri Krishna is trying to tell us in those verses which we studied yesterday? Anybody would like to revise a point or two quickly? Is this a very silent batch, Arun Prabhu? Devotees
No,
don't speak.
nothing,
Huh?
nothing like that. Prabhuji. People speak, devotees speak generally,
Okay.
and they may be shy in front of you, maybe.
Okay, fine. Or maybe fine. Okay, yes, Prabhu. You want to say something, Arun Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can try. Like after revising yesterday the previous things, we started the discussion on, like, we continued the discussion on 13.5, which had also been done last to last class. So we're discussing the last paragraph, that how uh, like Prabhupada is discussing, or he's speaking about Brahma Pucha, 5 stages of Brahman realization. That is the different koshas that cover the soul. And in that, the first three, Annamaya, Pranamaya, and Manomaya, it belongs to this Kshetra part, and then the last two, Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya, refers to Kshetragya. And therefore, that's how Prabhupada is discussing here. And we discussed that once a devotee or practitioner transcends this three Brahmaputra, three stages, three koshas, then he enters into the Brahman, like the spiritual realization starts, and it gets finished at Anandamaya Kosh, which is final at last. And then we discussed 13.67,
Okay,
like
okay. No,
Krishna is,
that leave it to others. Okay. 13.5. Why, what is the connection with our topic here? I mean, you said that Kshetra and Kshetrajna, these 5 koshas they refer to. But what is another significant point of discussion of these 5 koshas or these 5 layers of realization of Krishna?
I remember this only, because that
Okay, fine, fine. So unless we come to the spiritual platform, Vijnanamaya or Anandamaya, we are simply on the bodily platform or material platform only. Annamaya is also Krishna's realization, but that is a material, on the material platform, it is a realization of the Brahman. Like that, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport. So unless we come to the Vijnanamaya or Anandamaya, our life, we will not be able to reach to the life, perfection of the life. Therefore, it will be only animalistic life. We may be having only attached to the food. We may be, having some activities, physical activities, and then we may be only on the mental platform like that. Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, anybody else? Madhav, Harinam Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
And yesterday also we discussed what are the constituent of body.
Hmm.
So there were 24 elements, 5, 5, 5, 5. So 5 elements, earth, water, fire, ether, ego, and then 5 senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, and 5 working senses, one mouth, and then 2 hands, and then 2 legs, and then
Anus and genitals. Yes.
hands and genitals.
Yeah.
Yes, and sense objects, 5 sense objects like sound, form, sound, form, then smell,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
taste, and touch.
Yes.
So it constitutes 20, and then mind, intelligence, ego, 23, and the aggregate of material modes of nature combined together as pradhana is 24.
Yes, very nice. Fine. Very good. Yes. So that's about the how this body is made up of. Because in the 4th verse, if you see, Lord Sri Krishna is telling Tat kshetram yat yadrukcha yad vikari yatascha yat. Sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena mashrunu. Now please hear from me brief description of the field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, when it is produced, etc., etc. And that's why now he's giving that brief description in the form of these 24 elements and also the changes we discussed in the mind, all this ichha, dvesha, etc., etc. Fine, okay. Anybody else? Any other point? Anything you remember from 8 to whatever verses we discussed in the 20 items of knowledge? Any point regarding 20 items of knowledge? Is it knowledge or is it activity? Oh, sorry, is it a qualities or is it the process? What is it? These 20 items. Although it is being discussed under Jnanam, is it actually the Jnanam? Like humility, cleanliness, how it can be Jnanam? So anything regarding this? Is this the quality, the
Yes.
yes, bro. Prasanna Gopal.
Yes, Guruji, actually, it is all what you said, like it is process also, qualities also, and these are important for reaching to the Gayam, the object of the knowledge, and all these things are means to reach to that place. So that's why it is like process also and qualities also, which the sadhaka will, will try to get those in him so that he can reach to the Gayam.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, Deepali Mataji.
Yes, so Srila Prabhupada also tells in the purport that these all are the parts of this knowledge, like processes. But if one performs devotional service, then automatically all these processes get developed in that person. Then we yesterday some parts like humility, pridelessness, cleanliness, surrender to spiritual master.
Okay, fine. So yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver guner tatra samasate sura. So all the qualities are automatically. So should we cultivate these qualities or we should just do bhakti and then automatically they will come into us? What is our understanding? I mean, if I follow bhakti, is it that automatically I'll become humble? Or do I have to cultivate humility also? Yes, I think, yeah, you can say Deepali Mataji.
Yes. So we should sincerely perform devotional service. Automatically other qualities will come.
Okay, fine. Sundari Palika Mataji.
Roji, in my opinion, we should perform devotional service as well as we need to bring some change. That means that we need to cultivate this quality at the same time because we are not at Paramhansa or pure devotional level. So we need to cultivate those qualities. So because not everyone is internally, very good devotee or a pure devotee.
Yes,
That's
yes.
why.
Okay, yes, correct. So anybody who is a pure devotee already reached that stage, he's already manifesting all these qualities. Like we discussed so many qualities in relation to Srila Prabhupada. He's already exhibiting all these things, what have been mentioned here. And also that cultivating this quality, is it not a part of devotional service? Becoming humble, becoming submissive, is it not the part of devotional service? Is it a separate item from the devotional service? No, it is not. It is also part of the devotional service. Pranipat, Pariprashna, Seva, it's part of the devotional service only, like that. So therefore, it is not separate also. And also other way we can, otherwise people, devotee may ask, whether we should become first pure devotee, this will automatically manifest, or we should first cultivate, have all these qualities, then we should become, then we will become a pure devotee. No, it's a parallel side by side process. That is the way we can understand. And it is also the part of devotional service, cultivating these qualities. And like here it is saying, qualities as well as the processes. Acharya Pasanam, you have to approach a spiritual master. That's a part of the process. Amanitvam, Adamvitvam, Shantir, Ahimsa, all these are the qualities also we need to cultivate. Jnana is also there. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. We should be able to perceive based on the scriptural description, based on Guru Sadhu Shastra, what are the real problems in life. etc., like that. So it's a combination of all these. But as the Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, they explain us, these are the means to acquire knowledge. These are the means to cultivate knowledge. And these are the means to, go ahead in our devotional service. And therefore, Mai Chananya Yogena Bhaktir Abhyabhicharini. This is the most important. And it starts with Acharyopasanam, Guru Padashraya. It starts with that. So it is a combination of all these factors. That's how we understand it. Fine. Okay. Anybody else? Last point. Otherwise, we'll go ahead with the presentations. Who was there? Arun Prabhu, you have. Is there any confusion? Who's presenting what, or is it all clear?
Guruji, I have asked like devotees who sent, but some devotee have sent. I have mentioned, and like now Anuradha Mataji may try if her network allows. Yesterday she could not speak.
Okay.
Second topic: non-violence, tolerance, ahimsa, and shanti.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear. Please go ahead.
As I said, non-violence is not only that killing of animals or anything, even by using words, harsh words also, it creates some kind of violence among people. Example which we can give is who stop doing violence. Like can give the example of Shivji when he was called by, that is in the sacrifice that what is it, the puja conducted by Daksha Prajapati. So when he was called, no, sorry, not that. That was for tolerance. That is Hunter Mrigahari, when he came in contact with Narad Muni. And after that, when he came in contact, then little by little he stopped hunting. And then he was very cautious that he never used to kill even ants also. So that example can be given for non-violence. And
okay, so non-violence you are defining it as ahimsa or not killing others. But what Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport about ahimsa is a giving, that is correct. That is on the gross level. But Srila Prabhupada is explaining on another level. What is he explains ahimsa as?
that is how among devotees should be very careful even not to use the words in such a way that it hurts anyone.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. So that is one is on the gross level, killing with the hands or legs or on the bodily platform. Second is our tongue, as it is said, our tongue is sharper than the sword. So maybe the wounds of the sword may heal in some course of time, but the words are so sharp that they may continue forever also, like that. But I'm saying, Srila Prabhupada, anybody can else say what Srila Prabhupada is explaining about ahimsa here? This is correct, what we are discussing, but there's another level Srila Prabhupada is explaining. What is ahimsa? Madhav Harinam Prabhu.
Yes, probably that violence means to put somebody in distress, and people are already in distress due to this material condition. So not preaching is violence. Somebody should
Yes,
then,
this is what I was looking for. Correct.
Get out of the entanglement, and he will be happy. He will not be in distress. That is real non-violence.
Okay, yes, correct. People in general are trapped by ignorance in the material conception of life, and they perpetually suffer material pains. So unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. One should try his best to distribute real knowledge to the people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material entanglement. That is non-violence. Okay, that is actually what we are looking for, Mataji. Is this clear to you, Mataji? What you said is also correct, but this also is what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. Okay. Please go ahead.
And regarding tolerance, we should always bear anything when people are using words in such a way that we should tolerate it. And what even people, if they insult us also, we should try our best to tolerate these things. So for that example of Prajapati when in the ceremony when he was, and he tolerated it. But in the way, and even Prahlad Maharaj also, he also tolerated his father was insulting him, saying that how can you can you prove that there is God?
Okay, fine. Thank you. Anybody else has any comments or questions on these points about ahimsa and shantir? Anything you would like to refer from Srila Prabhupada's pastimes? Any place where you could see Srila Prabhupada tolerated a lot, either it's a people, situation, event, etc. Yes, Arun Prabhu, quickly.
One pastime I like very much about Prabhupada. In Vrindavan, it is said Prabhupada was having 108 degree fever and he could not stand even. But there was a deed to be signed or someone was coming to visit for some ceremony. I think this uh, land puja was there. So as soon as devotees heard that that person has come, he was a big person. So Prabhupada immediately stood up. Earlier he could not stand up. He could not even balance himself. And as soon as he heard that the person has come, he has arrived, Prabhupada immediately went there and discussed with him. And as soon as he went, he again came and like took rest. So that's how Prabhupada tolerated to build this movement. So this person I like, and I could remember when we were discussing this.
Okay, okay, fine. Very nice. Thank you. So yes, ahimsa shantir. Ahimsa means not preaching is himsa, and ahimsa means uplifting people or enlightening people in the Krishna consciousness. So what example we can have better than Srila Prabhupada? Because of him now Bhagavad Gita is being read all over the world in different languages. So many languages, so many people are becoming devotees. Their lives are changing for better. And this is a classic and shining example, golden example of Srila Prabhupada preaching Krishna consciousness and spreading it all over the world and practicing ahimsa, real ahimsa, like that. And about the tolerance also, many times especially in the initial days, what not Prabhupada has to tolerate, he has to, initial days, he used to actually stand in the line. There's only one toilet and everybody is standing, all the hippies are standing and he's also standing in the line. The Samsthapak Acharya, he has to stand in line and go for the toilet, like that. So many things he has tolerated. His personal servant was sharing once that there was no time in Prabhupada's life when he was, especially in his last 12 years, he was preaching all over the world. There was no time in his life when something health-wise was not going wrong. Something was paining, head is paining, this is happening, that is happening, teeth. Somehow the other health issue was always there. But Srila Prabhupada went on with tolerating all these things, like that. Okay, thank you. So many examples we can also give, but now we have limited time. So next, who is there next? Arun Prabhuji?
I think Madhav Harinam Prabhu, the self-control renunciation of the objects of sense gratification.
Okay, fine.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So
Yeah.
in these two qualities, self-control means rejecting the unfavorable situation which are detrimental to the devotional service. Accepting favorable, rejecting unfavorable. So one should control.
So you are explaining Atma Vinigraha,
yes,
self-control.
Self-control.
Yes, please.
And related to this self-control is also this Indriya Arthasya Vairagya. And Prabhupada also explained that regarding Indriya, this body is made up of senses, and the sense gratification is what that is blocking this devotional service. So it's opposite, devotional service and sense gratification. But still we have to maintain the body. So the only just to maintain the body only, one should gratify the senses. Otherwise, it should be controlled. And the best means to control is to engage all the senses in the service of the Lord. Just like we can see the examples of Prabhupada and in ISKCON, that many other organizations also, they are after controlling the senses. But in ISKCON, how Prabhupada established the real philosophy that all the senses are used in service of Krishna. Then it becomes automatically controlled. For example is given that eyes can be, if I take darshan of Lord Krishna's form, then it automatically becomes controlled. And other tongue also, if one take prasad, food offered to Krishna, then his tongue become controlled. And then another also, if the tongue is used in vibrating holy name and pastimes of Lord, then it becomes controlled. So when our senses are engaged in service of Krishna, then there is this quality automatically manifest in the threshold by that. And you were asking about challenges also. So what are the challenges you have to face while maintaining these qualities? I think it is the association with non-devotees. So whenever we are open to the non-devotees, then readily we are just contaminated by them. So the challenge is we should stop satsang tyaga, stop this association of devotees, non-devotees. And regarding this Atma Vinigraha, the challenge is that when one has poor sadhana, the chanting is like not good or hearing, or service to Vaishnavas are lacking. So in this, in such time, then the self-control becomes, it becomes looser. Then it's very difficult to control what I should reject, whether I should reject unfavorable situations or not. So these things are there. Thank you, Bhagavad.
Okay, fine. Any questions or comments? Any doubts? Other devotees? Is this all very clear to you? No questions, no comments? Okay, yes. Atma Vinigraha, self-control, and Indriyartheshu Vairagyam. It appears to be same, right? Self-control means controlling the mind and senses. And on the other hand, Indriyartheshu Vairagyam, that means we should not indulge in sense gratification, or we should stay away from, or we should give up sense gratification. Indriya Artheshu. What is the artha for the Indriya? What is the meaningful for the Indriya is to indulge in sense gratification or in the objects of the senses, like that. So although it appears to be similar, it is little subtle difference is there. Atma Vinigraha means we are trying to, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says, if we are trying to restrain the mind from the sense objects, which are actually the obstacle for the attaining the Atma or attaining the self-realization. So that's the restraining. So we still have the taste, but we are trying to restrain or, go away from them, somehow control our mind and senses. And Srila Prabhupada explains it is, one should not accept anything which is detrimental to path of spiritual progress. Means anukulyasya sankalpam, pratikulyasya varjanam. So restrain, basically, that's the thing which is being taught in the self-control or Atma Vinigraha. Indriyartheshu Vairagya means now the sense objects may be there, present, everything may be present there, but you have lack of taste now. You are no more being pulled by them, or there may be little pull may be there, but you are not so much, you have developed a higher taste now, and therefore you have developed a little bit vairagya regarding the indriya artheshu, like that. And there is a nice statement in the 6.17 purport, the very first line Srila Prabhupada writes, Yukta Hara Viharasya Yukta Chashtasya Karmasu, that he says the extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, mating, defending, which he says, which are the demands of the body, can block the advancement in the practice of yoga. This is regarding the yoga abhyas. This is true for even devotees, any type of transcendentalist, that extravagance in this matter of his sense gratification is actually, it blocks the advancement. And the contrary statement, if you want, you can take it from 4.34, Tadvidhi Pranipatena. Srila Prabhupada writes there in the purport, the secret of, the satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life, like that. So we should know these things very carefully. Indriyartheshu Vairagyam and Atma Vinigraha. So just like often we give the example of salt in the food, how much salt should be there? Oh, it should not be, salt is not at all there, it will not be having any meaning to that particular food. And if it is too much of salt also, it will spoil the thing. So these are the demands of the body, and also related and also corresponding to what is the stage of your life. Because our modern education system, it doesn't teaches us like in the earlier times, Vedic system, there is a Gurukul. The boy is 5 years, 8 years old boy is going to the Gurukul, and what to speak about, indulging in internet and mobile and sense gratification. He doesn't have any means, he doesn't have any money in the pocket. If Guru says eat, take prasadam, he has to take. If he doesn't calls him, he'll have to just abstain. So they develop submission, they develop humility, they develop self-control also. But now the whole education system and parenting, oh, हमको नहीं मिला हमारे समय, so we'll pamper our child and spoil our child like that. So like that, this happens, and therefore, right from the childhood, the training is ulta. Indulge in senses, explode your senses, let them go like that, and that is the only thing which we know. So this is actually the thing about these two things. Therefore, we need to develop and train ourselves under in spiritual life. And that's how whatever stage we have come to Krishna consciousness, now we need to train further and study Srila Prabhupada books, be accountable to someone, and then we can slowly develop a higher taste. And then, Indriya Artheshu Vairagam can be little natural also. Okay, next two items. Who is that? Arun Prabhu?
Like next items are absence of false ego, anahankara, and the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, which was assigned to Prerna Mataji, but she is not available today. She is not there. She has messaged.
Okay, so shall I
So
continue? Or anybody would like to say? Maybe I can get. I think many devotees are not there from yesterday.
two devotees, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. Those who are not
Two,
there, I'll
three,
just
three
cover up.
devotees.
Okay, I'll
Three
just cover
devotees.
up for them. No problem. Okay. Anahankara evacha. Anahankara means, ahankar means everybody knows. Ahankar means actually the false ego. Srila Prabhupada says. And it's very, very nice definition Srila Prabhupada gives in the purport. Many times you will hear, some people they say, oh, ego, E has to go, something like that. They will put it in very word jugglery. E has to go, ego has to go, like that. But actually, Srila Prabhupada says, ego means what? Ego means, what is ego? Identity. I think you have studied only your items only. You are not studying others' items, I think so, or you are not reading them. Ego means identity. So, false ego means false identity. I am this body, I am man, I am woman, I am counselor, I am this, I am that, I am Indian. All these are actually our false identity. False in the sense, they are not false in the sense, they are temporary, like that. So they are temporary. But what is our real identity? That is, we are actually Aham Brahmasmi, Jivera Swarup Khoer, Krishnera Nityadas. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us, right? We just read in the purport. So our journey in Krishna consciousness is from going from false ego to real ego. So from having a false identity or a bodily identification, sarva upadhi vinirmuktam. Now we have to become servant of Krishna. We have to become servant of the spiritual master. We have to become servant of the devotees. So that's the identity or the real identity which we have to develop. And what is the challenge? The challenge is that the whole society is so geared up, is so situated that it increases our false identity. Oh, I'm such a big person, I have such a big post, I'm having such an authority, I have such a big car, I have such a big phone. Oh, look at my DP, look at my Facebook. Everything, the whole thing is actually inflating or giving rise to your false identity. And that's how we are able to identify with your money, our post position, our face cut, etc., like that. There's a nice book by one senior Mataji, Devaki Mataji. She has written a book called as False Ego. I think so. It's False Ego, our constant companion and the troublemaker. Our constant companion and troublemaker. Very nice book. I haven't completed that, but I have that book with me. So that's actually very, very thing. That's the thing actually we have been identifying and we have been cultivating that. And that's actually therefore the solution is we have to cultivate spiritual knowledge. We have to read Srila Prabhupada books. take to Krishna consciousness seriously and follow Vaishnava etiquettes and work on developing real ego, real identity as the servant of the servants, or at least trying to serve in devotees, spiritual master, the community, like that, in some capacity, like that. Take up to some service with which devotees can identify. So this person means at least, oh, he's doing this service, like that, very nicely. Something like that to start with, like that. So that's about the anahankara evacha. And janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. So it's very nice. Janma mrityu jara vyadi. So these are the real problems. In device also we explain. So Lord Sri Krishna is telling dukkha dosha anudarshanam. We should perceive the evils. We should perceive the faults. We should perceive the real problems or real doshas in our life, real dukkha in our life. That is janma, mrityu, jara and vyadi, birth, death, old age and disease. Many times on this excuse stall, when we ask these people, what are the real problems in life? And we have relationship issue, we have unemployment as an option. Another option is traffic jam, this, that, whatever it is, right? Many times, and then there's a birth, death, old age, and disease option is also there. Most of the times, people, they choose what? Nowadays, guess what? Relationship issues. They choose like that. Okay. And of course, we don't say these are not the problems. All these are all problems only. But real problem means janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, like that. Because this is common to all. Nobody wants it and nobody can avoid it. Just like when we go to a doctor and we have some problem, I'm having this problem. Now, doctor has to first do diagnosis and then cure the disease, give some medicine. If the diagnosis is itself not correct, then whatever medicine is going to give, is it going to work? It is not going to work. So similarly, we are trying to become happy. We are trying to become, satisfied, content in our life, comfortable, trying to make our life comfortable. But we don't know if what is actually causing us real discomfort or real problem. Then actually, no matter what we do, we will not be able to be happy. So therefore it is said, dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Try to perceive the evils of birth, death, old age and disease. Many times we ask people, okay, how can birth be a problem? People, they have a very difficult time to understand how birth can be a problem. Birth is a problem because after birth only all these problems they start, right? After birth only old age, disease, death, that comes. Therefore, birth is a problem. So how birth is a problem? I'm sure you know that, but still I want to know whether you know that. How birth is a problem? Is birth a problem? Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, without quoting the Sanskrit verse or the text, I think so. He's just mentioning in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you read, yes, somebody saying? I'm sure you know in the Kapila section in 3rd canto, the last chapter, 31st or 33rd chapter. Yes, Nagna Jiti Mataji.
Prabhuji, in that reference, in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada has mentioned that how birth is a problem. He says the child has to be in the womb in such difficult situations, and it's a very uncomfortable place. And or from previous remembrance, what I have, that it was said that the child prays in the womb that I will to put him out of the difficulty and will become a great devotee, but and will never want to come back. But once he's out of the womb, then everybody's singing happy birthday, and then the child forgets all those difficulties, and life continues.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. So this is a description of the child in the womb of a mother by Kapil Dev, the mother to his mother Devahuti, in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 31st or 33rd chapter. And there, this is detailed description with the Sanskrit verses is given. How the child develops in the womb, when the hands and legs develop, when the hair develop, when the nails come, when the consciousness is there, when he develops the hunger, etc., etc. Right from the day one of the conception, everything is given in detail. So sometimes the challenge is, When you try to discuss about, and Prabhupada says here in the purport, these things should be discussed among the devotees. Many times people, they say, oh, why you discuss about death? You people are so pessimistic, you are so negative people. You are always discussing death, problems. Are enjoy karo bhai life. What is that? Enjoy. Khao pio ash karo, right? Like that. That is the philosophy they have. Oh, don't be pessimistic. Be positive. Be enjoy. Like that they always say. So actually, devotees are not pessimistic. They are not negative. They are actually realistic. Death is going to come, whether today or tomorrow. As sure as death, as sure as taxes, right? So death, nobody can avoid it. So just like a rabbit, somebody goes behind the rabbit. Rabbit puts, he's realize I cannot escape this fellow now who's trying to hunt me. He goes into a hole and puts his face into the hole. By just putting his head into the hole, is he going to avoid those issues? No. Just because we're not discussing, is it going to stop? Is Prakriti going to give us some concession? No, it is not possible, right? So therefore, it is not actually the challenge is actually sometimes the people, they are afraid. Don't talk bad. Don't talk about so many deaths are happening. Oh, what is happening in ISKCON? This Maharaj went, this dude went, or this one. Oh, what is happening? Like that they may question. So it is not that this is actually, we should not be surprised. We should be surprised that Krishna is continuing our life still. So we should take to our spiritual life very, very seriously. Like that. Janma mrityu jaravadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. So these things we cannot understand without scriptural injunctions. What Krishna is telling, what Bhagavatam is telling, we have to take it very, very seriously, discuss among ourselves, and that will be an impetus for us to take to spiritual life seriously. Next two items, Arun Prabhu.
Next, Prasanna Gopal Prabhu is there. Detachment and freedom from entanglement, children, wife, home, and the rest.
Okay, yes, Prabhu.
So the 2 points, the detachment and the freedom from family entanglement. Detachment, we have to understand in the right sense, not like just because the detachment is there, so which we should not go for detachment for everything. So we should follow the principle which is given by Rupa Goswami Nirodi, that is Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Varjanam. That means which is favorable to Krishna consciousness, we should accept it. And what is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness, it should be abandoned. So if that is followed, then everything will be taken care. Then the detachment principle can be followed. So while detachment, we should like when we are getting, we find that we are getting attached something. So we should understand that everything belongs to Krishna, and he is the proprietor owner. Ishava Sidam Sarvam. In that sense, everything belongs to Krishna. So there is no point in getting attached something. So everything will go away from us at the time of death one day. So and we even we are getting attached, or even if we have something to get attached, so all those things get away from us by getting cheated by somebody, or even our relatives. Even there are examples in even today's time also, we find that son is cheating, or son is son is making his father out of home, even the father is the owner of whole business. There is today's example. So there is no, so we can see, if we see carefully, then we find that there is no point in getting attached something. So and we should be instead of getting attached something, we should try to utilize all those whatever facilities or whatever amenities we have. We should try to utilize that in Krishna consciousness. That is actually the real detachment, rather than saying it no. So that is called like yukta vairagya. We should not getting detached, but we should always focus on getting attached something in Krishna service. So that we should focus upon. And also the detachment principle, we should follow the detachment principle when we are living, not like while after death, or after death we are putting some will, we are making some will, and then we are showing our detachment. So that is not actually detachment. We heard from one of the lecture that whatever you want to donate or whatever you want to do the detachment, that should be done in this life. So that principle also we should follow. And so so saying like something as I repeat that there is like saying no is not only sufficient, but there has to be positive engagement. Then only the detachment will be followed properly. So freedom from, let's say, family entanglement. Prabhupada has connected with the detachment and the freedom from the family entanglement both together in the purport. So, but here we can see that again the same principle we should follow, that whatever like favorable situations in the family life also, those has to be accepted, and if it is something is unfavorable, then that has to be abandoned, or the that has to be like handled differently. Like family is not entangled, but even the family life is glorified in the Shastra, and even is one of the ashram also in one ashram dharma. It is a grahastha ashram. It's a well glorified ashram, and then this and every family member is constitutes every family member is a part of that grahastha ashram, and that grahastha ashram is, and even grahastha ashram glory is that all the other ashrams are supported by that grahastha ashram. So each family member is also part of that. So entanglement comes when those family members are not supporting to Krishna consciousness. That time the entanglement of that person comes. So Prabhupada gives different like positive way of engaging the family members by doing the 4 activities, like chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, accepting prasad, offer to the Lord and accepting that remnant as a prasad, reading Shri Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and then deity worship. These are the 4 things Prabhupada mentioned to follow by in the family. And morning and evening, family members should come together and perform different spiritual activities. So in this way, if somebody can perform these activity, then this is actually a grahastha ashram. Otherwise, there is another terminology for that is grahamedi. So in this way, somebody follows, then that is not entanglement. It's actually bhakti. But if this is not happening, then there is an entanglement part comes. And then example of Arjuna is mentioned in the purport that Arjuna did not want to kill his family members, but when he understood that this is like instruction of first of all Krishna to kill, and it is impediment in his performing devotional service, so he accepted that killing of his own family members as a service. So we can see that to that extent somebody can go. So we should be careful while like in our life also, and like we should get detached from the family life, because not at the end of the that paragraph, Prabhupada tells that like one cannot be fully happy or one cannot be fully miserable. So in that, so we should get detached from the family life, because we cannot be like completely happy or completely miserable. So and everything, even if whatever gets happiness from the family life, but that is also temporary. So at least like getting entangled into that happiness and forgetting about our Krishna conscious duties, so that is unfavorable situation. So that point is very important. And let's say these are all things, but challenges comes even if we know the all these details, but many times after knowing all the details about Krishna consciousness or the activities to be performed in Krishna consciousness, but we cannot like it in real time scenario, it is very difficult, because every individual person in the family is different, and they are unique in their own like past baggages which they are carrying. So everyone will not follow the same way or same pace which we are expecting. So we have to and even if the family members accept, but still there are different stages of their own life, like student life or youth life, or newly married life, or middle age life, or old age life. So there are different stages of the family members, so their demands and expectations are different. So their way of Krishna conscious following can be different. So we have to adjust accordingly, and like we should not immediately go to the extreme end of getting like we should not think that the family members are not supporting, and then let's abandon, or let's get away from that. It should not be. We should cooperate, and we should be together, and we should give whatever necessary for for growing up, or for them,
Okay.
for their Krishna consciousness. Yeah, and then just last examples I'll just tell an end. Srila Prabhupada left home when he understood that his family members are not supporting for his Krishna consciousness. And then Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami's example, that whenever he understood that his current situation of family life or the grahastha life is not supporting, or is not, and they decided to go as per instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then they left. And then Vidura also left after giving all the instructions or suggestions to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, but still they did not hear, so he left. So these are all the examples.
Okay, Vidura was not actually Vidura was insulted and he was taken out of the palace. Okay, fine, but he took it as in the beginning of the third canto it is mentioned he took it as a mercy of the Lord, and he did not see it as his own insult, but he tolerated that. He did not fight there with the Duryodhana on the spot. That's actually the glory of Vidurji. Okay, fine, thank you. Anybody has any questions or any comments about these two items? What was that? Asaktir anabhishwanga putradara gruhadishu. Anabhishwanga means actually lack of absorption in happiness and distress when they are actually present. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that the children, wife, home, etc., they're actually it's a natural objects of affection, but when they're not favorable to spiritual progress, one should not be attached to them. And Prabhuji nicely mentioned about the Yukta Vairagya definition from the Nectar of Devotion. Anasakta Sivishan Yatharam Upayunjita Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. So everything should be attached to. Detaching means we have to get more and more attached to Krishna and the process of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, the Grahamedi's life, Srila Sukadeva Goswami in the beginning of second canto says, Deha Patya Kalatradishu Atma Sainyeshu Asat Swapi Tesham Pramattu Nidanam Pashyan Apina Pashyati. Although he's seeing, he's not seeing. What is he not seeing? That they are getting distracted. My grandfather has passed, my father has passed, but still he's thinking that Deha, Apatya, Kalatra, Adishu, my wife, my children, or my husband, my body, my belongings, etc., etc. Asat Sainya Ashupi. Although they are fallible soldiers, they cannot save us from the death, neither we can save them from the death. But still we pramatto, tesham pramatto, we are mad after them, we are attached to them, and we are not able to see the real situation like that. When Gajendra was there, his wife, his children, his friends, his other members, they tried to pull him from the mouth of the crocodile, but they were unable to. And then he realized these people, they cannot help me. They are actually fallible soldiers. So the solution to is this. Prabhupada says asakti, attachment, we cannot give up. In the West, he says, although there is no family setup or family institution is dying in the West, they are attached to the cats and dogs, and they live lot of their wealth to the cats on the name of the cats and dogs. So he says, Prasangam ajaram pasham atmano kavayo vidu sa eva sadhu shukruto moksha dwaram apavartam. Attachment never becomes ajaram. Jara means old. The attachment never becomes, even though we become old, the attachment never becomes, just like in Ajamila's case, he called up his youngest son. It will never become loose like that or old like that. Then what we have to do, the same attachment, if you put it to sadhu, sa eva sadhu shukruto, what it will happen? Moksha dwaram apavratam. It will open up the doors of the spiritual world. That is what we have to learn. So to becoming attached to the spiritual master, to becoming attached to his instructions, to becoming attached to Srila Prabhupada, to reading about Srila Prabhupada on a daily basis. So many biographies from so many devotees, so many different angles, it is being stated. By reading that, we become more and more attached. Attaching to Krishna means attaching to his devotees, like that. Okay, fine. And Prabhuji also mentioned about that incident, when Prabhupada's wife, Radharani Mataji, she actually once, what happened, Prabhupada used to come and, he used to go on business tour so many times. But once when he came home, he saw his dear Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever manuscript has taken, he has written, that is missing now. So he asked his wife where it is. And she says, and that time the barter system was there. She traded that Bhagavatam manuscript for some tea biscuits. Then Srila Prabhupada, that famous dialogue, you want me or biscuits? And she said, biscuits, like that. And Prabhupada decided there and there itself, that's it. It's finished now. In fact, if you know, if you read, Prabhupada himself says in the lecture, there's a video clip also in the YouTube, and it is there in the Leela Amrita also. If you read, Prabhupada was not happy with his wife. His wife was normal, having, normal middle class family, worshipping God, etc. But she did not want to do this too much like Prabhupada wanted to do it, preach and take the mission, etc., etc. So she was okay, not this much, like that. So he was actually wanting to marry second time. But and he was actually in that process 100 years back, that legally second wife was allowed in India. And Prabhupada was actually talking to the second girl and their parents. The talks were on. And then Prabhupada's father, Gaur Monde, came to know about what is his son doing. And then he called up his son and said, my dear son, why are you trying to do this? This is Srimati Radharani's arrangement, that your wife is so not to your liking. If your wife and your parents and everybody, your husband, everybody is to your liking, everybody can do these four things. Like Prabhupada says, discuss Gita, Bhagavatam, chant together, worship the God and offer food and take prasadam. It's well and good. But if not, like this extreme case like Srila Prabhupada, then Hare Krishna. And that's how he decided, now I will go, never to come back. And he said, I am going. So I am going means everybody thought, oh, he has gone so many times. He's going and he will come back also. But this time Prabhupada said, I left and for not to come back again. And that time, Srila Prabhupada thought, oh, I had a desire to marry all my children. He had 4 or 5 children, all my sons and daughters before I went off. But then I thought, but they were not actually agreeing to his plan, etc. like that. Then he thought, what will happen if I die now suddenly? Oh, on the deathbed, I'll say, what will happen to my sons and daughters, their marriage? Oh, God will take care. So why God will not take care now when I'm leaving? Now also God will take care. Thinking like this, Srila Prabhupada actually left. So this is about Putradara Gruhadeshu. What is it? Anabhishwanga Putradara Gruhadeshu. Not having this absorption like that. And then the Arjuna's example also, as Prabhuji stated. Next, or shall we take a break here now, Arun Prabhu?
As you desire.
No, my desire is to continue, but I think we can. How many are left now? How many we covered now? 14 of them.
Now, 1, 2,
6 are remaining.
4 topics. 4 topics. Yeah, 6 and 4 devotees.
Yeah, 6 and 4 devotees.
Out of which 2 devotees are not available.
Okay, fine. That's not an issue. So we'll cover them. So maybe only 2 devotees are left now, huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So we'll take them. Maybe we can take them and then finish, and then we'll go for a break. So who are those? Those devotees?
Then it will take time, Prabhu.
Oh, it will take time. Oh, you are there yourself. Huh? That's why it will take time. Okay, you're saying.
No, not like that.
You finished or you're still there? Balance.
Balance.
And who else is there?
Bhakti Leela Mataji.
Okay. Mataji, how much time you need? Half an hour, 1 hour?
No, 10, 15 minutes, 10 minutes.
Wow, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. How much time you need, Arun Prabhu?
I'll finish it early.
Okay, no, fine. You both should finish.
I can finish. Prabhuji,
Yeah.
I can finish in 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, fine. That is ideal. Okay, you do that. Then maybe we'll come back and take both of your presentations. Okay. So now it's 12:35. We'll come back at 12:40. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Or Mataji is next, Prabhuji.
Mataji, as per my record, even mindset amid pleasant and unpleasant events and constant and unalloyed devotion to Krishna.
Okay. Yes, Mataji, you can start, please.
Prabhuji, I have prepared 3 points.
Aspiring to live in solitary place and detachment from the general mass of people, she was saying.
Okay, no, but everybody is doing only 2 points, na? So you can do this nityam cha samachittattvam ishtan ishtopi pattishu. That is even mindedness among the pleasant and unpleasant events. And mai chanan yogena bhakti rave vicharini.
Prabhuji, I have prepared constant unalloyed devotion to me. That point. And next is solitary place wala.
Okay,
and detachment.
Fine, you present whatever you can. These 2
Okay.
points you can present, no problem.
So the first point is constant and unalloyed devotion to me. So Sanskrit word is Mai cha anyanya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. So it means always linking up with Krishna. So this devotional service is not sentiment. We see in the material world, we get some desirable things, then we are happy. If not, then we are distressed. So this explain in the purport. But in spiritual life, these things will not agitate us when we are situated in devotional service without break or constantly. Then one can doubted all these things in the service of the Lord Krishna. So and this happens automatically when one can engage in the 9 process of devotional service like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, etc. So this is called Ananya Yogena. Avyabhicharini means without any break, constantly 24 hours in Krishna consciousness. So here we can quote the example of Amrish Maharaj, that Amrish Maharaj did not agitate when Durvasa Muni created demon to kill the Amrish Maharaj. But Amrish Maharaj means did not counteract. He has that power, but he fully surrendered to Lord Krishna. Even we can quote here 9.14 wala course, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantacha Drudabratam. The next point is you can correct me, Prabhuji,
No, this
whenever you.
is okay, fine. Yes.
And the second point is the aspiring to live in solitary place. And devotee do not focus on this. This is subtle point. So Vivikta Desha Sevitvam means, as explained in purport, a devotee has no taste for unnecessary sporting like cinema going or enjoying some social functions, because he understands that all this process or all these things are simply a waste of time. So he adapted a spiritual life and he will not mix with other materialistic peoples. So here Prabhupada gave Prabhupada gave a test that one may test himself how far he is inclined to live in a solitary place without unwanted association. So here we can quote the example of Bharat Maharaj when he left his kingdom, family, and children and went to the forest in solitary place. And then again, due to the attachment of deer, he fall down and took the next birth, Jad Bharat. And
Dear. Next birth is dear, and then next third one is Jad Bharat.
third birth is, and again we can quote the example of Rup and Sanatan Goswamis.
So Jad Maharaj's example, you're saying he should not have left, or what is your point? Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. He went into the forest, so he should have gone, or he should not have gone, or what is problem with that?
If Prabhuji, means he gone to the forest, but without any association of devotee. That is my point.
Okay, very nice. Yes.
If we-
So okay. So Vivikta Desha Savitva means we should not be mingling or associating with the non-devotees, but definitely bhakti we cannot progress. In fact, Prabhupada writes it there in the purport. He was not having association there. There was not having under a spiritual master's guide or association of the devotees who could have tell him, Are Baba, you have came, you have left your wife and kingdom and everything like a malavat, like one passes the stool without looking back. But now you are getting attached to deer at the cost of your spiritual practice. So that was saving deer was not the problem, but going behind the deer, getting attached to it and living his spiritual practices, that was a problem. And if he'd have been in association, he would have not done it like that. Okay, fine. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and one subtle point is that unwanted association means keeping the distance from the materialistic people. But devotee actually prefer to be in the association of devotees, and they do not focus on being an isolation. That's third point. And third quality is detachment from general mass of people. Means not very attached with general public because they are not Krishna conscious. So we can meet them whenever required. So that doesn't mean we have to sit with them and talk all the nonsense as Prabhupada explained in the purport. So as per the Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Artir Jana Samsadi, means we have to avoid such a company. But when we are in preaching, when we are doing preaching, then we have to go and associate with them and to give them Krishna consciousness, that we have learned in our Krishna conscious life, and to share our experiences about all this bhakti yoga. So in CC Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yara Dek Tarak Krishna Upadesh. So a devotee focuses on not getting contaminated by material desires. That doesn't mean a devotee cannot mix with material people at all. So we have to protect ourselves. So here we can quote the example of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswamis. Although they were working that Muslim king, I think Nawab Hussain Shah. So, but they means they have all the fame, then prosperity, wealth, all these things, but they are not attached to their post and family, and then sorry, facility and the people around them. That's it.
Okay, fine. Yes, okay, fine. So this is about the Aratir Jana Samsadi and Vivik Desha Sevitvam. Okay. So our boss in the office is not a devotee. Our colleagues in the office, they are not a devotee. Our neighborhood, maybe they are not a devotees. Our relatives, they may not be devotees. So what should we do? We should associate with them, or we should only associate with the devotees. Otherwise, what should we do in such a case? Non-devotee association, where we have, I mean, we cannot avoid them. Now, boss, we cannot avoid. No? Colleagues, we cannot avoid in the office. So what to do in that case?
We have
Yeah.
to preach
We have to
Krishna.
preach. Hari Bol. They are in no mood to listen to us now. What do you do now? Yes. Dipali Mataji.
Yes, so we take their association as necessary. वो जितना जरूरी है उतनी ही बातचीत करनी बस.
No,
We should
I didn't get you. What
not
is
take their association, but
not take their
okay.
association.
Yeah. Obviously, we will have to deal with such people in normal world, so we cannot avoid them totally, and it's not good also. So we should
Okay.
deal very nice, smartly, like
Okay.
they should not impact our consciousness.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Prasanna Gopal Prabhu.
Yeah, we should create one good impression in their minds that he is a good person. Like there are many devotees who are good for them, but they are not following Krishna consciousness. But on his words, they can do anything. So at least we can create that kind of impression, and they may be helpful in some way or other. There may be requirement or ISKCON moment. So they may get engaged in some other way. They may not be engaged directly in Krishna consciousness, but they should have good faith or good impression of us in their mind.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, Isha Mataji.
Prabhuji, we can provide them prasadam, like because everybody likes food, so we can, and in India nobody will say no to prasad, so we can give them prasadam, some cookies, and also we can set some nice example by our nice behavior towards them, and then we can invite them to some functions like Janmashtami and all that, so that some indirect preaching is also there, and they also know that they are not like indulging into bad things, so they will also behave nicely to us, and there will be not so much mundane talks.
Okay, fine. Yes, thank you. Correct. All these are correct answers. Arun Prabhu, last.
Devotees talked more practically. Two examples are coming to my mind. Like one is Vidurji, that how he was living not in a favorable place, but then Vidur and Vidurani, they were living beside and they were doing their sadhana, and then as a prime minister, Vidurji was doing his task also. In the second example of Vibhishan, that how he was living in a solitary place, although being in the kingdom, and he was chanting, he was maintaining his Krishna consciousness, Ram consciousness along with doing his job. So sometime he tried to correct Ravan also, but when Ravan didn't understand, so he left. And there is a nice pastime that he was chanting Ram Ram and someone complained. And then when Ravan asked, he said, I am just chanting Ram is Ravan and Mam is Mandodari. So Radhesham Prabhuji tells when he was working, when he would get some task, if the task is of 10 days, he would finish it in 5 6 days, and then remaining 2 days he will do sadhana, and on the ninth day he will submit, that is on before time. So like that we can be there amongst them. And as soon as Vibhishan got the chance, he came out from that from Ravana's kingdom to the to Ram's party, and that's how a devotee should do. After completing his material responsibility, he should go to Anapas and continue his Krishna consciousness. So this was like Shastric example was coming to my mind when you asked.
Okay, okay, very nice. Okay, fine. Yes. So we cannot avoid these non-devotees or materialistic people, and in the offices, especially in the neighborhood, relatives, sometimes we come across them. So, I mean, before coming to Krishna consciousness, everything was nonsensical talks only. You know, we were having chit chat, this, that, gossip, useful, unuseful, wasteful, etc. But now, after coming to Krishna consciousness, we should at least, I mean, we can give them prasadam, we can try to preach them, etc. But if that is not also possible, then at least we should have a good impression, like Prabhuji was saying. And also we should do the needful. Okay, this job is to be done. Whatever is required for that job, we should do it, because we are trying to safeguard our own Krishna consciousness. Why we are working, why we are earning money, why we are having family, because ultimately we want to further our Krishna consciousness. So we should do needful. So like many of you said, giving association, taking association. If you cannot give association, we should at least safeguard ourselves and not take their association, means not get influenced by their words, their lifestyles, their thinking, their thought process, etc., etc., like that. And yes, we should not have we should not create a negative impression. We have to be very careful, because everybody know this guy is wearing kantimala and he's this con man, and if you do something wrong, immediately they will notice, etc., like that. So we should not we should inspire them. If we cannot do that, at least we should safeguard ourselves, like that. And then as the time progresses, Prabhupada writes in 1539 in Bhagavatam purport, everybody, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, Pandavas retire timely. That's a chapter name. So there Prabhupada writes, everybody should arrange their life in a such a way that the last 15 to 20 years are fully dedicated for the sake of Krishna consciousness, for achieving the perfection. So maybe it is our need of the hour now. We need to work, associate with these people, but ultimately our aspiration, and towards the end of our life, we should arrange that everything is only devotees only. We are doing only Krishna consciousness, nothing else is there. Like Srila Prabhupada's life, we can see whether he was talking to journalists, whether he was going on morning walk, he was going Bhagavatam, he was meeting people from the other faith. Every time he was Krishna conscious, he was talking Krishna consciousness only, like that. So this is the art, and this will take some time. We cannot do it artificially, but slowly that should be our target, and that should be in our mind also. Fine. Prabhuji, Arun Prabhu, you're the last one now.
Yes. Prabhuji, actually, as I understood yesterday, my topic was aspiring to live solitary place in detachment from general mass. So I had prepared that yesterday. So two examples I can add up in this.
Okay.
Like in aspiring to live in solitary places, Mataji shared and Prabhupada writes in purport that it's not that we are living alone in Himalayas, but that we are preaching Krishna consciousness and associating with devotees. One nice pastime of Srila Prabhupada comes to my mind. Of one Mataji, foreigner Mataji, she was a big book distributor, and somehow once she went to Radha Kund and there was some Babaji. He said that okay, bahut ho gaya book distribution. Now you come and associate. I will give you Vraj Prem, something like that. So she said okay, and then she stopped distributing books. So she shares. I don't know. I don't remember her name. She shares that once um, she was she slept, and in the morning time uh, Prabhupada came to came in her dream, and it was something like Prabhupada took hold her hand and took her in the Radha Kund, went deep inside the Radha Kund, and there were many souls. They were crying that give us Krishna consciousness, give us books, give us books. And then Prabhupada said to her, then she was like astounded that what are they doing? And then there was a book table also, and Prabhupada was standing there. And then she looked at Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, "What are you doing? Give them books. They are suffering." And then she understood that she has come to wrong place, and again she started book distribution of books from that day. So, here that example came to my mind, that she started living in solitary place at Radhakund, but Prabhupada did not appreciate and came to her dream and instructed her that we have to be in preaching and preach this Krishna consciousness. So that is what the understanding of aspiring in solitary place from ISKCON's, not ISKCON's, from Shastra's point of view. And detachment from general mass of people, one example I thought of, like how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he got instruction not to go to Kolkata at any point of time in life from his Guru Maharaj. But then he went to Kolkata to give association to the general mass of people and give them Krishna consciousness. So in one sense, he broke the regulation given by his Guru, but then he followed also, because that was the mode, or that was the essence behind it. So these two examples I have written. Apart from this project, two topics, like three topics are there. One is event mindset and amid pleasant and unpleasant events. So I don't know who
Okay,
has been allotted.
we will take that, no problem. So 15th item you're talking about, right?
Uh,
Nityam cha
yes,
samachittatam ishtan ishtopi pattishu. So
yes, yes,
Prabhupada mentions that, happiness and distress are concomitant factors of material life. One should learn to tolerate, one should learn to tolerate them. They are actually there, happiness and distress. So just like we say in Matra Sparshas to Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhada Agama Paino Nityastam Siddhikshasva Bharata. So generally, whenever we get something desirable or we are having it in mind, we become very happy, elated. And whenever we don't get what we want or what we desire, then actually we become distressed. That is actually not being advised here. It is being advised that we should maintain our equilibrium. Nityam cha samachittatvam ishtan anishton upapattishu. Whatever desirable, pleasant or unpleasant events happen, we should be actually. It is said Srila Prabhupada was actually tested twice in his life. Once he was sitting in the Vrindavan, he had no money, he no penny. He writes a poem there that, all I have, my wife, my children, everything, but all are now remaining only for the namesake. He was not having a single penny. There was penniless that time. But that time also he was Krishna conscious. And when there was a time when he was in, opening so many temples, 108 temples, taking over churches, etc. like that. But he was not attached to them. So whenever he didn't have money, he was also equipped. He was Krishna conscious. He was actually Dhira. He was not disturbed. And whenever he had a lot of money, a lot of disciples, lot of temples, lot of books also, that time also he was equilibrium also. So this will come as, it is being stated in the purport that this equipoiseness will come, when we practice Maicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktir Avyabhicharani. Because Prabhupada was there on that platform, he could do that. Once his disciples, they took a mansion, I think in Detroit, that was costing something like $300,000. $300,000. Prabhupada went with that agent and devotees there, Amrish Prabhu and one Mataji is there. He went with them, and he actually, that part, the owner which was there, Prabhupada asked him, please give us in free. We are sannyasi. I'm actually a beggar, like that he was saying. And that agent was getting so much disturbed, what is this fellow is doing, what will happen to my commission and this and that. And he was saying, what kind of this customer is there? But then that didn't work out. That fellow said, no, we can't give you free, although you are a sannyasi and you're preaching this and that. Then Prabhupada used another tactic and he said, he was saying $350,000. Prabhupada said, we will give you $300,000 cash, down payment. Prabhupada didn't have that money, but he said, we'll give you down payment, reduce it. And that fellow immediately agreed also. And immediately Prabhupada instructed, Amrish Prabhu and that Mataji, who was also daughter of a very wealthy person. He said, now both of you arrange. And next day, Prabhupada flew to actually Canada for his preaching program. So he was not attached to whatever, the possessions or the properties and this and that, it was there. And he was always in the equilibrium, whether he had money, he didn't have money. So many things were going against what he was trying to do. but still he was maintaining like that. So that's about a devotee has to develop this nityam cha samachittatvam ishtan ishtopi pattishu. And the next one, adhyatma jnana nityatvam. So that means we should consider continuously deliberate on this adhyatma jnana nityatvam. So it's about the self-realization. As far as self-realization is concerned, it is clearly stated here that Bhakti Yoga is especially practical. As soon as there is a question of devotion, one must consider the relationship between super soul and the individual soul. The individual soul and the super soul cannot be, at least not in Bhakti conception, cannot be one, sorry. They cannot be one, at least not in Bhakti conception, the devotional conception of life. This service of individual soul to the Supreme Soul is eternal, nityam, as it is clearly stated. So Bhakti or devotional service is eternal. One should be established in that philosophical conviction. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. Just like in 9.2, Krishna says, Rajvidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmam Susukham Kartum Avvyayam. Avvyayam means, Prabhupada explains, this is the glory of devotional service being explained by the Lord Himself, the most confidential knowledge. Avvyayam means not that in the material life, in the material world, we are anchoring for service and we are trying to do devotional service. And once we go to spiritual world, we sit back, relax. Bas, abhi ho gaya, ghar aa gaya, ghar wapsi ho gaya. Abhi now I can relax. No, devotional service will continue from where we live. We are doing devotional service in material world. Even after going to spiritual world, Avya means devotional service will continue. We will continue to serve the Lord. Therefore, this relationship between the soul, individual soul, and the super soul, Bhakta, Bhagavan, and Bhakti, these are all eternal, right? Like that. So, soul is eternal, super soul is eternal, Krishna is eternal, Jiva is eternal, and the relationship Bhakti, loving devotional service, that is also eternal. So that is actually nityatvam, adhyatma jnana nityatvam. So we should meditate on this and we should try to cultivate. Slowly, everything 24 hours we have to come to this particular platform. Otherwise, sometimes, challenge is, oh, we are doing Mangala Aarti and then we are doing Narsimha Aarti, Tulasi Aarti now. This chanting 2 hours, then darshan, Guru Puja, Bhagavatam. बस अभी गर्म हो गया दिमाग, अभी थोड़ा थोड़ा ब्रेक दे दो हमको, बहुत हो गया कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस. We may feel like that initially. That is correct as per our stage, but slowly it has to come to a platform where Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. It should become a constant meditation, constant activity like that, 24 hours a day. Okay. And Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam means philosophical research for the absolute truth. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, there are many research scholars and philosophers who study sex life or some other subject. But according to Bhagavad Gita, such research work and philosophical speculation have no value. That is more or less nonsensical. Nowadays PhD research work means PhD. So many subjects they have such, some mosquito in the forest of Amazon, they do PhD on that particular mosquito and they spend their entire life studying that particular species and coming out with the papers and publications and this and that. But what is actually worth doing PhD or research is Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. This philosophical research for the absolute truth, searching for self-realization, for the God, like that. One should make research by philosophical discretion into the nature of the soul. One should make research to understand the self. That is recommended here. And then he goes on to make a point about the absolute truth or the super soul also. Like in Bhagavatam, Vadanti Tat Tattvavidas, those who are actually knows of the absolute truth know that the self is realized in 3 different phrases as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. Bhagwan is the last word in relation of the absolute truth. Therefore, one should reach up to that platform of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus engage in the devotional service of the Lord. That is the perfection of knowledge. Prabhupada mentions, as I mentioned earlier also, just knowing I am spirit soul is not sufficient. Engaging that spirit soul in the service of the super soul or the supreme absolute truth is actually the ultimate goal, and that should continue. Okay, so this way we have concluded, and I think the last paragraph it again talks about the humility. We also spoke that last time. So that's about the 20 items or the process of gaining knowledge. Fine. So there's one nice quotation. I think we have less time. So maybe instead of reading all of them, we can just at least read one of them about the humility. So who can read it now? Somebody should read from the screen. Prasanna Gopal Prabhu, can you read, please?
Bhagavad Gita 13.8 to 12, Amanitvam. Hari Vilas Das. I remember going on a morning walk around the Boys' Day, bulged in
That's
the
okay. That's okay.
yeah, okay, this in which there are some lakes, and I remember asking Prabhupada a question. I asked several questions, but one specific question was, Srila Prabhupada, what does it mean to be humble? And his answer was really incredible. He said, humility means that you are convinced beyond any doubts that there is nothing in this world, absolutely nothing in this world, nor not your money, not your family, not your fame, not your gun, not your education, nothing that will save you except the mercy of Krishna. When you are convinced like this, then you are humble. And that expectation really impressed me. In
Explanation.
other words, yeah, in other words, he was saying when you depend completely on Krishna and no longer rely on any material thing or formula as a backup, you have no longer any backup, just the mercy of Krishna. Then you will actually be humble. So that was a wonderful explanation that he gave, and that stayed with me all these years because that is actually the foundation of humility in Krishna consciousness, and obviously Prabhupada was an example of that.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So that's about the jnanam, which is being explained. And now the next, after explaining kshetra, kshetrajna, 2 to 7, or in 1 to 7, jnanam was explaining 8 to 12 text. And now 13 to 19, these 7 verses, Krishna will talk about geyam, that is which is worth knowable, or that is the object of knowledge. After explaining knowledge or the process of knowledge, what will be the object, what should be the object of our knowledge? That's about the soul and the super soul. Text number 13, Krishna will explain about the soul, individual soul, and 14 onwards till 18, Lord Sri Krishna will talk about the super soul. Okay. So, because this is a Jnana section, this is having some typical language about the Upanishadic language, where there is a scope for misinterpretation. Sometimes, like now the word we just read, Brahma, Anadimat Param Brahma. So Brahma can be used for denoting many things like that. So the Mayavadis or impersonalists, they actually mix up. Wherever it is referring to Jiva, they will it is talking about the Lord. Where it is talking about the Lord, they will say it is talking about Jiva. And that's how they will mix up, and they get confused, and they confuse others also. So we should read very carefully from Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas. So we already recited this verse. Dneyam yat pravakshami yat gyatvam amrutam ashnute. So Dneyam yat pravakshami. Dneyam, what is the object of knowledge? What is knowable? You hear that, yat pravakshami. That I will explain it to now. And what will happen by explaining that to you? Yat gyatva amrutam ashnute. By knowing which, you will become amrutam, means you will attain to the eternal life. And Anadimat Param Brahma na sattan nasat uchyate. What are the attributes of this Brahma? Anadi, the Brahma here is referring to what we will discuss. Brahma here referring to individual soul, and not Brahma referring to the super soul here. So this individual soul is, what are the characteristics or the attributes of this individual soul? Anadi, it is beginningless. Mat param means it is subordinate to me. It is dependent on me. Like that. Therefore, it is referring to individual soul. That's what our acharyas they explain us. And na sat tan nasad uchyate means it is beyond any material cause. So we will see these things in detail when we discuss this. Okay, so we already read the purport. So Brahma, what do you understand by the word? What are the different meanings of the word Brahma? Brahma refers to what generally? That's individual soul. Aham Brahmasmi, that is one thing. What else Brahma refers to? Brahma also refers to, yes, Dipali Mataji.
Prabhu, effulgence of the Lord.
Huh?
Sorry, this Brahman.
Yes, Brahma refers to Brahman also. Brahman effulgence also is Brahma only. Yes, what else? Arun Prabhu.
Arjun says Param Brahma. So there is Prabhupada writes supreme absolute truth.
That is Parabrahma specifically stated, right? But many times Brahma also refers to the absolute truth also. There is no differentiation. In Gita, it is said Parabrahma, but sometimes Brahma also refers to individual soul. Brahma also refers to the super soul. Brahma also refers to the Lord Brahma. Brahma also refers to the Brahman effulgence. Brahma also refers to the, in general, whatever is having spiritual quality or spiritual nature, that is also called as Brahma. Like there is this famous verse in the 4th chapter, Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmagno Brahmano Hutam, Brahmavatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samaval. So Brahma, that means having something which is having spiritual quality. Anything that is used in the service of Krishna, that attains the spiritual quality. Prabhupada gives a famous example of iron rod kept in fire, that also becomes fiery. Why do we Acharya's bodies, they don't, they don't burn those bodies. They put a samadhi because they're so much into the tan, man, kaya, manasa, vacha, these tridandi sannyasis, completely dedicated to Lord Sri Krishna's service. Therefore, it has become spiritual like that. So they put it as samadhi like that. It is not, although it is made up of matter, it is no more material. Just like iron rod is there, a normal iron rod will not burn, but iron rod kept in fire will become fiery. And if you touch that, it is as good as touching fire like that. Okay. So that's about this. Brahma here refers to individual soul, and how it is being referred to individual soul, that also we will study. So first thing is here the attributes we will study. Anadi. Anadi has two meaning. What is the first meaning of Anadi? Anadi means you cannot trace out where the soul, when the soul came into existence. Can you put up a date like Prabhupada mentions the purport? Oh, just like we have a photo of Nana Naneji in our house, and some garland is put and birth date and Swargavas. They write Swargavas, right? We don't know where they are gone, but they write Swargavas. So like these two dates are there, manufacturer and expiry date. So can we put that like date to the soul? We cannot put. We don't know when it came to the existence. It is not that Lord was existing and at one point of time soul came as a part of the Lord. No, it's not like that. Mame vansho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. Jivabhuta sanatana means what? You cannot trace out when it has no beginning and it has no end. That's sanatana, like that. So anadi, it has this meaning. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the Bhagavad Gita also, this is mentioned in the 2nd chapter. Where it is mentioned? Where it is mentioned in 2nd chapter? Prabhupada is not quoting, I think, the verse, or is he quoting? Yes, somebody can try.
So can you please repeat the question?
I was saying, Prabhupada is mentioning here that this is explained in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter number 2. I'll just read the 1 second. Where was it? Yeah. As explained in the 2nd chapter, the living entity is eternal. So where it is mentioned in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, living entity is eternal. Because we are talking about anadi. That's one characteristics of the individual soul. Yes, Bhakti Lata Mataji, Leela Mataji.
Ajo nityam shashvatoyam puran.
Yes, correct. So this 2.20, I think so. Yeah. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vanam. The soul has not born, it has no death, it has not come into the existence, it will not come into the existence. That means it is anadi, it is eternal. You can put up a date stamp to the soul. This is the time when actually it came into the existence. Just like the sun and the sun rays, the analogy is given. As long as the sun ray is there, sun rays are also there. As soon as we see sun rays are there, sun should be also there, like that. So this is the way Lord and the soul, the super soul and individual soul, they are eternal. Mame vansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana, like that. And now to highlight this difference between the individual soul and the super soul, who both of them are known by the word, one word in the Upanishadic language as Brahma. But here in this particular verse, Krishna is saying, Mat Param Brahma. Mat Param Brahma means what? What is the word to word meaning? Mat Param Brahma.
Subordinate.
Subordinate. Yes. So I am its master. Krishna is saying, Mat Param Brahma. It is subordinate to me. I am its master. It depends upon me. And to prove this point, Srila Prabhupada in the second paragraph, he gives many other references from the Vedas or the Upanishads, because these Mayavadis, they don't accept Puranas so much. They say Puranas are actually not authoritative. Only Upanishad and the Vedas they accept. Therefore, Sri Ishopanishad, Prabhupada takes Sri Ishopanishad and defeats the Mayavad and impersonalist peoples, their philosophy. So here is quoting that the Supreme Lord as a super soul is also stated in the Vedic literature. Shweta Shatara Upanishad. Pradhana Kshetrajna Patir Gunesha. Pradhana Kshetrajna means he is a super knower. He is a Kshetrajna. Individual soul is also Kshetrajna. Lord is also Kshetrajna. But who is Pradhan? Primary super, this super soul or Krishna is the primary Kshetrajna. And is also Patir Gunesha. He is the master of the three modes of material nature. Okay. And then Dasabhuto Harer Eva Nanyaseva Kadachana. Jiva is the servant of the Lord and never anyone else. This is also stated in the Padma Purana, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, in his teaching, teaches us that he is the eternal servant. Jiver Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. So this is to say, Mat Para Brahma means here the talk is about Gneyam, that which is knowable, that is the individual soul, and therefore it is referred as Mat Param. Okay, fine. Okay, and na sat tan na sad uchyate means Atma is neither sat or is neither asat. Sat and asat, it does not mean the temporary and eternal in our normal sense. The Acharyas, Prabhupada is not given this explanation, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan explain. Sat and asat means the cause and the effect. So Sat means the effect. So many shapes, so many forms, so many things we see in this material world, but Atma does not belong to any of them. That is not the form of the Atma. It is beyond the effect of this material world. That is means it is na Sat, na Asat, like that. And Asat means the cause. Cause means Atma is also beyond the Asat, means before accepting this material body, this form, this name, etc., which is the effect we see in this material world, when before creation, when the soul is in the body of the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, or before the day starts of Brahma, or in the Mahavishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, or it is there in the Pradhana, that time it is not having any name, possession, form, etc. of this material world. It is devoid of any name or form. So therefore, it is said the Atma or the Jiva is beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Like that it is being explained. So that's the meaning of the Sat na Asat tan Uchyate. Okay. So that's the individual soul, Brahma, Mat Param, which is being explained in the text number 13. And now 14 onwards, Lord Sri Krishna will talk about the super soul or the super knower or the primary Kshetrajna, Pradhan Kshetrajna. So 13.14. Sarvada Panipadam Tat Sarvato Akshishiro Mukham Sarvada Shruti Malloke Sarvam Avrutya Tishtati. Can somebody read? Isha Mataji, can you read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything.
Sarvata Pani Padam. Pani means here in Sanskrit, not Hindi or Marathi. Sarvata means everywhere. Pani means the hands. Padam means legs. Sarvata Pani Padam. Tat. Tat here refers to also the Paramatma or the Brahman here. Tat means his hands or legs are everywhere. Sarvato Akshi. Akshi means the eyes. Shiro means the head. Mukham means the mouth. He has his hands, legs, mouth everywhere like that. Eyes everywhere. Sarvata Shruti Malloke. He has his ears everywhere. Sarvam Avritya. He is pervading everywhere. He has entered everything. And Tishtati. He is also separately situated. Like our Vishnu. Vishnu means what? Vishnu means that which is all pervading. Vishnu, all pervading. Vishnu means he is omnipresent. He enters everything. That is Vishnu, like that. So, Prabhupada talks here. 14th. It gives the analogy of the sun. Like sunlight, sun is pervading entire universe by its rays and sunlight, by heat and light energy. Similarly, the super soul is pervading entire thing, whether it is material world, spiritual world, everywhere is there existing. And is existing in all pervading form, and him exist all the individual living entities, beginning from the great teacher Brahma down to the small ants. There are unlimited heads, legs, hands, eyes, and unlimited living entities, and unlimited living entities. All are existing in and on the super soul. Therefore, the super soul is all pervading. Now, the Mayavadis or impersonalists, they try to refer this as, that Brahma which has been talked about early in the earlier verse. No, this is not being talked about the individual soul. Can we say individual soul has his hands and legs everywhere, his eyes everywhere, his mouth everywhere, his ears everywhere? That is not possible. We know that, right? By common sense. Otherwise, there was no need to have this Zoom link and etc. Keep your videos on, etc. etc. Right? Because we have our hands, legs, eyes, ears everywhere. So what is the need of, coming to Zoom and keeping your things on and etc. like that? So this is not talking about the individual soul. This is talking only about the super soul only. So the arguments are being defeated, Mayavadi arguments. First argument was this refers to the individual soul or jiva. Srila Prabhupada refutes it, but he does not have hands, legs everywhere. That is not possible. Second argument from the Mayavadis, what do they say? He is covered due to ignorance now, therefore not conscious that his hands, legs are everywhere. When he attains proper knowledge, is liberated, he will know that his hands, legs are everywhere. See, very subtly they talk about these things, right? But then how Srila Prabhupada is refuting? This thinking is contradictory. If Jiva is supreme, God, then how he came under the influence of Maya, became conditioned by material nature? That is not possible. So if you remember, we already discussed this, this is not possible. In the third text also we spoke about Kshetrajnam Chapi Mam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. There is a difference between individual soul and super soul. Individual soul can come under the influence of Maya. How can Krishna, who is the master of Maya, he can come under the influence of Maya? If Maya is greater than the absolute truth or the Parabrahman, then who is supreme then? Then you can ask, what is the source of Maya in that case? They will not be able to answer you. If absolute truth or God is supreme, then like we say 7.14, what is the verse 7.14? Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durataya. Krishna is talking about Mama Maya. And if you read 7th chapter of 1st canto in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:7-4-5, those verses there, that is clearly stated after Narad Muni being, the Vyasadeva, after being instructed by Narad Muni, he sits on the bank of river Saraswati to write all these, Srimad Bhagavatam again and revise his edition. That time he has a darshan of Lord Sri Krishna. Maya cha tad apashritam. There it is clearly stated that this Paramapurusha is Krishna was present and Maya was also present there, and Maya was subordinate to Krishna. That is clearly stated in those verses like that. Okay. So in this way, these few points Prabhupada is talking about. This verse is not talking about individual soul. This verse is talking about the super soul or the Paramatma. And then few more points about the omnipotency of super soul. Prabhupada mentions Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Because he is actually omnipotent, whatever you offer, he can accept simply by glancing on it. Although he is Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto, although he is there in the present individually, Tishtati, he is there in the Golok, but still he is pervading the entire material creation. Akhilatma Bhuto. Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto. In the Brahma Samhita, we see that. Therefore, the conclusion is what? The individual soul cannot claim that he is all pervading. Therefore, this verse describes the supreme soul, the personality of Godhead, not the individual soul. Okay. And then the further attributes of the super soul are being explained there. Can we finish this now, or we should stop it here now? Maybe at least, okay, we'll stop here anyway. So we'll continue further.
We can take Guruji 5-7 minutes and
5-7
finish
minutes
this.
we can take. Okay, fine. So 13.15 we can recite together. Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriyam vivarjitam asaktam sarvabhutchaiva nirgunam gunabhoktrum cha. Please read. Please read, Arun Prabhu.
Translation.
Yeah.
The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the mode of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all the modes of material nature.
This is another favorite verse of me, Mayavadis of the impersonalists. Why? Because here it is said, the absolute truth is Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. He is without any senses, like that. So he's Nirgunam. These are the words very dear to these impersonalist people, but Srila Prabhupada refused them very nicely here. So, have you heard this sentence? All contradictions are resolved in Krishna. There are many contradictory qualities Krishna is having. Can you name some of them quickly? Krishna is black or Krishna is white? We have so many black deities of Krishna, right? And we have so many white deities of Krishna also. So Krishna is black and Krishna is white also. In Vrindavan, in Vrindavan temple, if you go ISKCON temple, it is said Krishna Balram temple is there. Na? Krishna is black Balramji and white deity is So Krishna is black Balramji and Balramji's deity is actually white Krishna, like they say. Because there is no difference between Krishna and Balramji. Krishna is cruel or Krishna is very kind? Please tell us. For Hiranyakashipu, he was very, very cruel. And for Prahlad Maharaj, he was very, very kind. It is being stated by one Acharya, South Indian Acharya, I was hearing that when Hiranyakashipu tore apart the Narsimha Bhagwan tore apart Hiranyakashipu and put his intestine. His two eyes, he was such an actor that one eye was so much anger was there. He was looking at the Hiranyakashipu, and another eye there was so much love for Krishna, Prahlad Maharaj, like that. So who is that actor who can have one eye, he can have anger, another eye he have a lot of love, like that coming out of that eye. This is not possible, right? So is God male or female? Is Srimati Radharani or Lord Sri Krishna? It is all these contradictions are resolved in Krishna means why such contradictions are given, contradictory attributes or absolute truth are given in our scriptures, so that we can understand that I cannot understand Krishna with my tiny brain. Krishna is beyond my material intelligence. Therefore, all these contradictory qualities of the absolute truth are given. You already studied Ishopnishad, right? Ishopnishad तदेजति तन्नेजति तद्दूरे तद्वा अंतिके तदंतरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः. He is inside everything, he is outside everything. He ejati, he walks, tannejati, he does not walk. He is very near, taddure tadva antike. He is very near as well as very far. All these contradictions are there in the supreme absolute truth, so that we understand, we don't understand. Prabhupada told his followers, we cannot actually understand Krishna. So the follower asked, Swamiji, why you written so many books then if you cannot understand Krishna? Swamiji said, by reading so many books, we can understand that we cannot understand Krishna. Therefore, we have written so many books like that. So this is the way he is actually having all contradictions. So the super soul is the original source of all senses. We have been discussing about Rishikesh earlier also. Yet he is without senses. So what does this mean? It means, in short, now don't have time. It means that it doesn't have any material senses. He's without senses means his senses are not like me. His body is not like me. Akayam, you already studied in the 8th mantra of the Ishupnishad. Akayam, and so many other qualities were there. Right? Kaya means body. Akaya means he's without body. So is Krishna without body? Means his body is not like my body. My body has so many veins, this and that. All these blood veins are there, but Krishna doesn't have like that. Krishna's body is Satchidananda Vigraha, like that. So similarly, he is the source of all senses, but he is without senses means his senses are not material. Sarvendriya Gunavasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. So he is the original source of all senses, he is without any senses. Asaktam Sarvabhruchaiva. Although he's maintaining everyone, all the living entities, still is not attached to them. We were just discussing, asakti, anasakti, we were discussing in this 8 to 12 verses. So if I'm maintaining somebody, if I'm maintaining my family, if I'm maintaining my building, this, that, my house, I'm maintaining it, then I become attached to them. I think I'm maintaining my counselees, so I become attached to them, right? Like that. So whatever I'm maintaining, I become attached to them. I'm maintaining my son, and if my son doesn't listen to me, I become angry. Is it not? I become angry. Yes. So, but Krishna is not like that. Krishna is maintaining all of us, but still he is not attached to us. He is giving us the freedom. In the Ishupnishad verse, it is same verse, it is said, I forgot the Sanskrit verse, but it says that Krishna has given us a facility so that if anybody wants to go to the hell, all the facilities created by Krishna to go to hell. And if somebody wants to come back home, back to Godhead, Krishna has created all the facilities in this material world so that one can go back home, back to Godhead. So he's fulfilling our desires. So he's fulfilling our desire. He's providing everything to us according to what we desire, what we deserve, like that it is said. So he's unattached, like that. This is the quality of the Lord Sri Krishna. And Nirgunam Guna Bhokturum Cha. Nirguna means he's transcending the modes. He's not under the 3 modes, but he's the Guna Bhokturum Cha, means he's the master of the 3 modes of material nature, like that. So, Tribir Gunar Mayer Bhavir Yebi Sarvamidam Jagat Mohitam Nabijanati Mamebhya Paramavya. Deluded by the 3 modes of material nature, deluded by 3 modes, the whole world does not know me, who I am above the modes and inexhaustible. Like that. Prabhupada quotes from the, Prabhupada mentions in 7.13, the one verse before the Daivi Hesha Gunamai. Okay, so that's about the more attributes or the characteristics or the qualities of the super soul in the 15th verse. This will continue also in 16, 17, 18, and then Krishna will summarize and then we'll go further. So any questions or comments anybody has on what we discussed today? Are you able to get this, what we are discussing? What different sections, different verses, the links between the different verses? Yes, Madhav Haridham Prabhuji. If anybody wants to go, if it is getting late, you can go, please, no problem. Or if you want to switch off your video and take prasadam, etc., it's okay. Yes, Madhav Harinam Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji, still understanding through material senses, it is not possible. But though it seems like that God is impersonal, that everywhere is his hand, everywhere is his legs, his eyes, his hands,
Okay,
everywhere
two ways we can understand. He has his legs and hands everywhere means our hands and legs are also his hands and legs because he's a Rishikesh, he's the master of all the senses. And as a Paramatma, he has his own senses, hands and legs everywhere. Like both ways we can understand. Is it not?
Yeah.
What else? You have a question on this or?
Yeah, that is also written here in purport that there are unlimited heads, legs, hands, eyes, and unlimited living entities. So all the heads, hands, eyes of all the material living entities are his heads, legs, hands. Also.
Correct. So this is a comment or question. What is you have?
So when we talk about this, everything is everywhere. Then it seems like he is impersonal. He has nothing.
So tell me,
between-
absolute truth. Absolute truth is personal or impersonal?
Yeah, there are three realizations: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan.
So absolute. Can other devotees answer? Absolute truth is personal or impersonal? Please tell me. Arun Prabhu.
He is personal, but available in impersonal form also. As Prabhuji said, like Prabhupada give example of sun god,
Yeah. Correct,
sun
correct.
planet, and
So
then
we cannot say absolute truth is not impersonal. Absolute truth is personal, and also absolute truth is impersonal also. But the highest realization is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in his personal form. So in 9.4 also Krishna says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. What is the meaning of that? Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina means I am pervading this entire universe, entire creation in my avyakta form, in my impersonal form. It's like that. So it is impersonal as well as personal also. He is present personally also in the spiritual world, in the material world as a Paramatma, in the Karana ocean, in the Garbhodakshaya ocean, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and in the Kshir Sagar as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. At the same time. So he is everywhere. Is there any place where Krishna is not there? So he's both. So is that okay, Prabhuji? Or you wanted to have another question, another angle you had?
We are both. I
Okay.
understood it is the both features there.
Huh?
I understood that it is both.
It is both. Yes, fine. Fine. Any other question or comment? No? Fine. So we'll stop here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai, Upasthit Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nidai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.